Okay, so good evening, everyone. And today we'll be talking about the social conditions that influenced philosophy after Aristotle. And in this discussion, we'll be looking at two social conditions that influenced the Hellenistic philosophy, which was the philosophy after the period of Aristotle. Okay, so after the death of Alexander the Great and Aristotle, the Hellenic period came to an end, and then the Hellenic period was a period where Greek civilization was primarily self-contained, and so after this period, the period of the Hellenistic period started. Note that Hellenic is different from Hellenistic. Hellenistic is interpreted as quasi-Greek period, and so this period was the period where Greek culture and civilization blended with other cultures, particularly from Egypt and the Near East. The Greek culture blended with culture from Egypt and the Near East, and then after this period was followed by the Roman period, in which the Romans conquered the Hellenistic states using military power. Now, the Romans were able to overcome the Hellenistic states were through their military power and came into government, and but in terms of culture, the Hellenistic culture still remains strong. So the Hellenistic tradition triumphed culturally, while the Romans triumphed militarily. Okay, so this made the Romans absorb to take in the culture of the Hellenists because their philosophy, their literature, their arts were very, very rich. So the Russians adopted that. Now, in the end of the Roman period was in the 6th century after the death of Christ. So that was the end of the Roman period. So why are we just saying this? Why are we discussing this? We are discussing this in order to understand the philosophies that came after Aristotle were actually influenced by the social conditions then. Epicurus, be it Plotinus, be it Stoicism, be it skepticism, all of them were actually influenced by the social condition at that era. So now we are taking a look at the two major factors that influenced a change at that period. The first one was the political life. You know, uh, like we said, the wars in which the Romans came and then overtook the Hellenistic states, those were period that the Greeks felt city state they were exhausted both physically and spiritually. Because why was this? During the period of Plato and the rest, the people were actively involved in the people were actively involved in in participating in their city states. That was in the period of Plato, Socrates, and Aristotle. So, but they were not offered this opportunity after the Romans took over, and they were forced to uh, comply with the mode of government then. yeah, it reads that, however, when the Greek state lost their independence, people felt alienated from the distant and powerful government, because the government was like an authoritarian one. You know, when the military are in power, and is a form of authoritarianism. So the people were not actively participating in their states. They were to follow every laid down rules, and not as just a free citizen as they usually is. So their practice of civic duty gradually changed into a grudging compliance with the laws of the empire. Now, that is on the political life that influenced philosophy after Aristotle. The second factor that shaped philosophy of this period was the fact that the social conditions uh, which Socrates reacted against were still in place. You know, Socrates reacted against the uh, the social conditions, the way of life in which the people lived at that period. So that situation still remained. There were no integrating values to produce social cohesion. That is, there was nothing to promote unity in the society, in which people can always come together and do things together. So, and at that period also, the popular religion were already declining, and the gods, you know, the Greek worship gods, the gods of the city states. Now they now seem impotent, and all these social conditions contributed to people now having to, forget about the social being. Man is social by nature, but people had to forget about this now. And then the this factor produced an individualistic practical approach to philosophy, not the social one anymore. But everyone was now concerned about their individual lifestyle, concerned about what is actually better for them as individuals. They were concerned about how philosophy can offer solution to the problem of living which they were facing. Now, there was little or no interest in theoretical concerns for their own sake, like the knowledge that philosophy deals with is not about knowledge this period. Now it is about how it can be practicalized to help them solve problems in which they were facing, answer questions like what is what's while in life, what is left to strive for, what do I need to know to best shape my life. So everyone was looking for a way to escape from the dismal period of which they face day to day, and they were seeking for personal peace and rest for their already weary and alienated soul. Now, we should also know that although the Hellenistic philosophers, they dealt with metaphysical issues also, but their metaphysical ideas were primarily on practical and ethical concerns, or on how they can be practical, on how they can be used to judge what is right and then what is wrong. So uh that is that on what actually influenced the philosophy after Aristotle. Number one is the political, and then the social condition. And then we should note that the philosophies which came out in this period was the academics who carried on Plato's school, and later fell into the hand of the skeptics. Then we have uh, the Peripatetics, which was the name of Aristotle's school. Then we also had schools like Cynicism, schools like Epicureanism, Stoicism, and skepticism. Now, those ones too were popular in the Hellenistic states. Now, the last one was Neoplatonism, which was the final and seventh movement, and it was a religious mysticism which offered an escape from the bodies of this world by means of religious enlightenment. Thank you so much for listening. You can always go through again to understand the social and the political conditions that influenced philosophy after the period of Aristotle. Thank you. God bless you.